Hey, everybody from Cohort B and Cohort R. Happy first day of school. Obviously, this is the first time in my 16 years of teaching that I've done it this way, but I think that we can adapt, and I'm ready and excited to start a great year with you guys. If you're already at this point, you've already found my teacher page under academics, teachers. You scroll down to Gerst. You did this, you're going to get the hang of this, certainly throughout the year. You saw already the work I had set out for you, hopefully on the task that says September 8th, cohorts B and R. The first thing that I want you guys to do today is to view my welcome video. You're going to find it under the video and audio tab of this page that you're looking at now. And you'll click on that video there and I will talk. I'm wearing a different shirt. It's a different night, but nonetheless, you'll view that first today. Once that's done, you're going to enroll in your respective Google Classroom page, which is organized by your specific class period. So it's important to pay attention to your schedule, what period you're assigned to me, and also to find that it is the period and the cohort B/R Google Classroom. There are separate Google Classrooms for my A group, so I want to be sure that your due dates are the dates that you're following. So to do that, you're going to click on Google Classroom codes. And you'll see here the bulleted pieces for your respective class sections. Obviously, you're already there if you got this far, so I feel a little silly pointing that out. What you're going to find once you get into our cohort B and R classroom page, I'm going to use period 2 as an example. You should already see an announcement that I have set out for you that's basically going to direct you to ignore the stream tab this year. The spring and our first remote learning experience really taught me that the stream can get quite cluttered. And so to deal with that, I've opted to add this announcement that just says disregard the stream tab. And I want you to click the Classroom tab in Google Classroom for our CP English 3 coursework. So you'll see that up here like this. All right, you see that I'm going to be organizing my content this year by week number, okay? And I'm going to call, this week 1. Obviously, it's the start of September 8th. And you're going to see that that's going to be a unit. And underneath, there will be a tab for an assignment posting of some sort for each day. And I'm going to identify it by the name of the day, Tuesday, and the date. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I have for you. You'll see it looks a little funny because I have it scheduled for you to come in the morning, but right now it's before then. All right, so it says, hello, cohort B and R students. Happy first day. You're going to complete the following work. You're going to have this very same video you're watching posted. You're going to click the Get to Know You Google form. And then I'm also going to have you make note of the summer reading summary assignment on this tab as well. It's going to be due September 14th, and I'm going to review that momentarily. First, let's take a look at what you're doing today. You're going to offer me a little bit of insight into who you are and some things about your learning styles and things outside of the classroom. I know you're probably doing this for many of your courses this week, but it provides some insight from the start for me to better understand you as a student, and hopefully you have found some of my materials that I've offered so far helpful in trying to understand who I am as your teacher this year. So let's go ahead to take a look at this and see what it's going to contain. I have a couple sections. Some of it is pretty standard. Some of it might be unique to our class and teaching in the English classroom. So you're going to find the first section is titled About Me. You're going to see some very basic information, your name, class, period. Preferred gender pronouns are helpful to me. Your birthday. I do like to celebrate birthdays, although if your birthday is today or tomorrow, I'm going to do my best to make sure I can make note of that now so that I can observe it. I ask a question if you feel like you can tell me if you have a good workspace on remote days. If not, just kind of let me know. It just gives me some insight as we try to figure out this whole work from school, work from home craziness that is our world right now. I ask a question here so you can showcase a little bit of writing, although it's really basic. I ask you to describe what your typical day looked like during remote instruction quarantine last spring. I'm just kind of curious about what that experience was like for you. I mean, A couple sentences is fine. I don't need anything extensive. The next section is going to work with your learning preferences. And so this gives me insight to, kind of what you come to the table with in terms of attitudes toward the language arts classroom, writing, reading, that sort of thing. It also lets me know kind of what you're interested in outside of that setting. So I give you a checklist here of subjects you really like, subjects that are most challenging to you. I don't want to say classes that you don't like because that suggests that, maybe you just don't like it because you're not interested. So I want to know what ones give you trouble. So I offer that same checklist there. I also ask a couple questions about you as a learner. We all learn in different ways and styles. Some classroom content is better suited than others toward, let's say, moving around the room versus lecturing versus visuals and so on and so forth. So I ask you to kind of check which apply to you in that case. I do ask a couple questions about what you're like outside the classroom setting. I ask about sports and work, music, what your plans are after high school. And then I kind of shift gears and I ask you about some questions when it came to English class last year. The questions that I ask you they could be about any of your English classes so far up to this point. I do ask about last year, but last year was so unique due to quarantine and remote learning. Well, I would like you to share your experiences and what you struggled with when it came to your English work then. I also would like you to think maybe a little beyond that and to give some thought as to, what's been easy or hard for you when it's come to English, in a regular situation when you're in the classroom and not working from home. Is it the writing? Is it the reading? What about it gives you trouble? Is it vocabulary? Give some thoughts to that. And then I also want you to think about, like, when it comes to English class, what are things you think you're good at? It could be really basic things, like I'm really good at organizing my stuff and taking notes, or I'm really good at reading for extended periods. I'm really good at writing creative essays, but I might be bad at writing research papers or more structured texts. So I give you some freedom to kind of offer me some insights there. This question I want to clarify. It says true or false. I think my grades in previous English, I should say classes, I gotta fix that, reflect my ability. So in other words, if you got an A, did you get an A because you worked really hard? If you got a D or a C in the class before, is it because you really struggled to understand the stuff, or was it more about just staying organized or getting distracted or that sort of thing? So do your grades really showcase your abilities in the English language arts classroom? Complete the sentence. In this section, I ask you, the best teacher for me are teachers that do what? Tell me about the things that have worked for you with teachers that have really, really been effective in teaching you new things. I ask this question, when I get frustrated, do I shut down? Do I get quiet? Do I ask a lot of questions? Do I, put my work down and start doing other things? And then the last thing is pretty open. I just say, anything else you'd like to tell me that'll help us have a good year together? If you can offer me any insights into you as a learner in my classroom, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so that's the Get to Know You survey. The other thing, so that's step 2 today. The third thing that I'm going to have you do is to make note of the summer reading summary assignment that is on the classwork tab. I'll cite that in a minute. It's not going to be due until Monday, September 14th, but I've attached the link that's on the HHS website that goes over the details. So if you click here, this is the document that we had on the district website. Let me close these tabs out. That kind of goes over how they approach summer reading given what happened in the spring. All right, so this time you got to pick a book of your choice. It should have been something hopefully you found interesting. You really could have picked from any genre. No one's going to be too big of a judge this year since you had so much freedom. I offered my students last year some off-the-record recommendations. They weren't officially school endorsed, but they were readings that I was familiar with or that I knew that secondary English teachers liked a lot in their classrooms or that their students liked. Your parents had to approve the book, and you can see the task right here. It said students are to, I can't highlight it. Students are to write a brief summary along with their reaction to the book. At least 2 paragraphs, can be longer. Okay, so this top part is the part that applied to you. All this stuff down here was if you were going into honors or advanced placement, which if you were, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. So this is what I've laid out for you for the first day. If you guys have questions, I really encourage you to embrace your newly activated school Gmail accounts. You get to them just by going to your Google Drive tab. I can show you that right here, although I'll have to move my little face here. Let me move myself down. There we go. Oh, it's right here. Gmail. Boom. And it'll take you to your new website, or I'm sorry, your new email address for school. So this is what you're going to use to email me throughout the year. We will be doing an assignment with how to write a professional email to a teacher or an instructor, actually starting tomorrow and on Wednesday. And we will talk about how that should be structured and so on and so forth, since you now are going to be using that to correspond with your instructors and teachers throughout this year. But I'm looking forward to seeing my Cohort B students in person on Wednesday. My Cohort R students, I'm looking forward to working with you virtually and getting to know you and see your face next Wednesday when we meet for our remote learner check-in. So I think that's all for now. I hope you have a great day. I encourage you to kind of roll with the punches. I know there's a lot of learning curves for the teachers, for the students. And I couldn't be happier to be doing a job through this with people like you. So, all right, that's all for now.